There we go. Hello, guys. Let me start Instagram. Go live. Come on, Instagram. Come on, Instagram. Okay, we're waiting for Instagram to kind of do its thing here, guys. Hold on. There's Instagram. Okay. And then Substack. Copy stream. Boom. All righty. Substack is going live. Excellent. All right. Hopefully people show up. I realize it's been a week, but I do get my vacations. Hey, Susan. I'm back. All right. There we go. All right. Phew. Everything's working now, I think. Oh my God. I'm back. I went on vacation to Arizona. How we doing? Thank you, guys. I never take vacations. I'm trying to take more vacations in life because I literally never take vacation. So I decided to go to Arizona last week, and I considered doing lives, and then was like, you know what? I'm in Arizona. I'm not going live. So I did a few update videos on news stuff, but didn't. I know a vacation in August. Who knew? So welcome back, everybody. Woo, boy, how we doing? I know I got a nice little tan. I didn't really try to. I'm Greek. I get tan. Arizona does that. Whenever I go to Arizona for a week, I'm always like tan. I can't even imagine if I lived there. My God, I'd have to go through so much sunscreen to protect my skin. I'd be so dark. Anyway, so welcome back, everybody. So yeah, we've got a good amount of news today. Well, I've got a decent amount of news. I know the Europeans. Now that I'm European, it is required. It's like required. Oh no, is my thing not working? Oh, son of a bitch. Just shoot me. Oh my God. All right, hold on. I'm going to see if I can get this to work. My iPad that my notes are on ran out of power, of course, because again, these are the things like you just don't think about. Oh, it may be booting up. Let's see. I read my note because money. Oh, Richard, I'm so sorry. Richard's pet just passed away. Oh, trust me, I know what that's like. I'm so sorry, Richard. Let me 1 second here, guys. I'm pulling up my notes on my computer. Okay, hello. Oh my God. Here we go. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to pull this up on my trip was nice. Yeah, trip was very nice, actually. All right, we're waiting a second here for my computer to come up here. YouTube update? What did it update? That's a good question. What did YouTube, people are saying YouTube looks different. What did YouTube update to? Mouse says they met James Tallarico last week. Excellent. That's pretty cool. That'd be very cool. But YouTube, you don't like it. What did YouTube update to? What did they do? I have no idea, of course. If anybody wants to tell us what they're doing. Yes, exactly, Susan. You knew I was okay because I had YouTube videos. Yeah, is this there? It's slowly updating here. Oh my freaking God. I'm trying to get my notes. There we go. Notify anyway. I sent myself notes, but they're not quite coming through. We'll just sit here and talk until my notes come through. The chat is now transposed on top of the video and transparent, so it's hard to read. Yeah, nothing changed on my side. YouTube changed it somehow. Yeah, I've got it set up the exact same way. It's tall, it's big, same way as before. Really TikTok? Not TikTok. I can't. Oh my God. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get my notes. I've been gone a week. This has been a crazy. I am trying to. Oh my God. Trying to get my messages to work here because I texted my notes to. I can't read it off of my computer. There's no room in my computer. I texted the notes to myself, and I'm waiting for them to come over, and they're just being like slow. All right, we're waiting for my text to. Anyway, I can wing it. I mean, the only thing is, it's nice to kind of have my notes in front of me, Oh, that's interesting. I don't know how that's different from before, though. Gunther is annoyed because of the way YouTube looks, which several of you are. You know, I'm just going to start. This is pissing. Oh my God, this is pissing me off. What are you doing? I don't know why it's not synchronizing. I'm going to try to send one more picture to myself or one more set of notes. It's just not synchronizing. Thank you for the gift there. Already getting rolling. All right. One more set of notes set to myself. Notify anyway. Why is it not coming over? Who the hell knows? Okay. I'm texting myself and it's just not texting. Test. All right. All right, guys, we're having like major technical difficulties. Okay, that worked. That worked. And where the hell's my other? It's allowing me to like text from my iPad to my computer. But when I text from my computer to my iPad, it's not sending my notes. Oh, now it's updating. Okay, hang on. It's slowly updating here. All right. You can do it. Well, anyway. Welcome back, guys. We're yeah, I can start talking about the Iran stuff because I already know the Iran stuff. At that point, maybe my notes will come back. So let's get rolling here. I'm Jon Ossoff. You guys know this. We go up. Oh, thank you, Carol. Actually, I did go see the Odyssey. We can talk about that at the end. I was not thrilled about the Odyssey, but we'll talk about that. The movie, but that's actually good because it actually sets you up where you might like it. You know what I mean? Like if I give a bad review to the Odyssey, it only means you'll like it. You might like it even more. If I give a great review, then you might go, it wasn't very as good as I thought it was, right? But let's start with the Iran stuff. Oh, thank you, Heather. I was just going to say, keep the gifts coming. As you guys know, I do this regularly. So you know what? I may even email it to myself because since my notes are being so bad. Let me try this 1 second, guys. I'm going to email my notes to myself. Here we go. Because I can't see them. Here we go. Yes. Beautiful me. Notes. There we go. That was a very good idea. Well, the person who said Discord got me thinking I could just send it to my notes. All right, good. All right. But yeah, so let's start with Iran, guys. Okay, I'm going to pull up my notes here. You know, Iran's a freaking mess. I mean, you know this. Trump is now saying that, and I love this from him because he's so bad at this. He's so bad at this. Trump is now saying, oh, well, if Iran doesn't, give us everything we want, we are going to unleash an economic disaster on Iran like they've never seen before. Any of you who have been following this issue might be familiar with the fact that Donald Trump has repeatedly talked about never seen before damage we're going to cause to Iran. And he said it again and again and again and again. I mean, I can't tell you how pathetic it is at this point that Trump would even say this. It's clearly bullshit. It clearly is a lie. Thank you, Heather, for the sunset. If you're Iran, and I hate to say this, but they already know this. If you're Iran, you have nothing to fear from the United States so long as Donald Trump is president. He's a liar and he's a chicken. And he's already made that clear. Trump has repeatedly said, oh, if they don't come through, we're going to do the biggest thing ever. And he's never gone through with the biggest thing ever because we don't have any more weapons because he used too many. He's declared too many wars. He's invaded too many countries. And we now no longer have enough weapons to basically even fight little old Iran, let alone China and Russia, which might be on the horizon sometime soon. So now Trump, as part of his, the little boy who cries bomb, exactly. So now Trump, as part of his never-ending threats on Iran, is now claiming, oh, we're going to put massive economic sanctions on Iran if they don't come through. Here's my question. We've been at war with Iran for 5 months now, right? If Trump has this massive economic influence that we can use to make Iran come around, why haven't we used it yet? He's lying. This is like Putin. If anybody who follows Ukraine knows that the big argument from the Russia's defenders are, oh boy, don't get Putin angry. If you get him angry, if Ukraine fights back hard, Putin's going to do something awful. He's going to do something awful to Ukraine if Ukraine fights back hard. You know, he has, and the next line, it hasn't yet begun to fight. You just wait. And I always say, well, we're 4.5 years into the war in Ukraine. If Putin hasn't yet begun to fight, the man should quit, because he doesn't deserve to be president of Russia if he's been fighting a war for 4.5 years and he hasn't done everything he could to win that war. Same thing with Donald Trump. Trump is now claiming he's got some kind of economic levers he can use against Iran, and they'll be oh so damaging and oh so effective. Why haven't we used them already? Right? Why haven't we? When we were bombing Iran and trying to get them to cave and trying to get them to come through, why didn't we use these alleged magical economic powers that Donald Trump now claims we have? Why haven't we used them yet? Right? Is it Trump didn't really want to win the war until now, and now he does? This is why he's lying. This is why we know he's lying. Because if we had some kind of magical economic power, we would have used it. First, here's another point. Let's pretend Trump is telling the truth. Let's pretend that we've got some magical economic power that will bring Iran to its knees and make them come along on the nuclear program and everything else. Why did Trump go to war with them at all? If we've got magic economic power that can bring Iran to its knees, and your choice is A, use your magic economic power that can bring Iran to its knees, or B, we could risk the lives of hundreds of thousands of U.S. service members and millions of U.S. allies in the region, costing us over $100 billion and killing at least 18 U.S. service members that we know of, and several hundred that have gotten traumatic brain injuries, by the way. We could do that, or we could simply use these magic economic powers. So instead of using the magic economic powers that could end the war, Trump decided to bomb them instead and get U.S. service members killed and cost us over $100 billion. And by the way, waste so many of our weapons that now we're at risk in terms of our ability to defend ourselves against Russia and China. This means Trump is either lying. Thank you, Tarad. Trump is either lying, and we don't have any magic economic powers that can influence Iran, or worse yet, for some reason, he thought it was better to risk the lives of our troops than to simply use economic force that could have achieved the same thing. Right? Thank you. It's me. You get it. I mean, this stuff is nuts with him. I'm still waiting for these damn notes to come through. Very slowly, they'll make it. Oh, I think it's my other email. Well, they'll make it. Oh, here they are. Jeez, finally my notes came through. I mean, I know what we're talking about anyway, but it drives me a little nuts when I'm trying to find my notes for the show. There we go. Hello, notes for the show. So Trump then, listen to this, CBS News. So in response to Trump's threats against Iran, Iran's foreign minister on Thursday dismissed President Trump's threat to wield economic warfare and isolation on an unprecedented scale, quote, as a diversion from the burgeoning U.S. national debt and a doubling down on failed policies. Mr. Trump threatened Iran on Wednesday with an economic D-Day. The president said earlier Wednesday the U.S. could, listen to this. Trump said earlier on Wednesday the U.S. could return to talks with Iran at some point, but he believes the current situation is so good he didn't need to talk to Iran right now. I mean, Trump thinks the war is going so well that we no longer even need to negotiate with Iran because the war is going so well. Right? How's the war going so well? I mean, this is, and I've said this before, this is the danger of electing someone president who's a blithering idiot and a liar. Trump is trying to save his ass right now. He screwed up. He launched a war that we weren't ready for, a war that, not even not ready for, a war that we couldn't win. He lost that war. He got at least 18 U.S. service members killed, at least 18, cost us over $100 billion. And now he's trying to lie his way out of the war by saying, things are going so well, we don't even need a peace treaty because things are going so well. He loves how well it's going. Are your gas prices going well? Are your grocery prices going well? Eggs are finally down. They're not down to what they were before where I live, but they're down at least. Everything else, the prices are through the roof. It's still going. Still going through the roof. Gasoline prices, they're still bad. Man, you know, keep clicking the screen on TikTok. I think because we haven't done this for a week, we're not getting as many people. Then again, TikTok, TikTok, they may be playing games with us. There's always that risk. We never quite know. But on TikTok, give some clicks, maybe share, follow as well. I always forget to ask you guys to follow me on TikTok. But follow me as well, anybody who's new. I do this show Monday to Friday, 6 o'clock Eastern. We talk about the latest news from around the world. I live in Washington, D.C. My background is media, law, public policy. I've worked in government. I've worked all over the place. But also click the hearts and everything else. I'm wondering if that may help to distribute this further. It's being difficult tonight on TikTok. I'm not sure why. But maybe because I haven't been doing it for a while. The regulars may not realize it. I know I am back. May not realize I'm back. Thank you, M. Hawk. So the Iran stuff is a mess. Pentagon said the USS George Washington aircraft carrier arrived Wednesday in the Middle East. The ship will replace the USS Abraham Lincoln, about which family members have voiced concerns over deteriorating mental health conditions of the crew. So when I was gone this week, you saw that Trump came out, basically called the families and our sailors liars and said, oh yeah, they're lying. There's nothing to what they're saying. Families aren't worried. There's no problems in the ships. In fact, the ships have been at sea too long. The crew, several crew members tried to jump ship. Thank you, Rob, for the TikTok gifts. Several crew members tried to jump ship. They were running low on food, horrific conditions. And Trump just lied about it, of course. And now my son is going to, seriously? I may have to shut the curtains while we're doing this, guys. It was like storming out a little bit ago with a tornado watch. I'm going to shut the curtains. I don't, does it? It's not bothering me too much, but it may get annoying soon. Is this like too bright for people or not on TikTok? I never know. Usually when the sun comes this bright, I try to shut the curtain because it kind of starts to annoy me. You know what, though? It's starting to piss. It's starting to bug me, though, because you know what I'm getting? Now I'm getting warmth on the side. I'm going to shut the curtains anyway, guys. Give me 1 second. One moment. One moment. Yeah. All right, that's a good start. All right, that's better. That's better. I'm putting up some curtains because the sun's coming in and it's just like too hot. All right, boom, 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 and boom. All right, that's pretty good. 1 sec. All right. All right. Okay, that I can handle now. That's good. All right. Are my curtains the wrong way? Of course they are. See, this is the stuff that's hard when you're gone. My curtains are turned the wrong way. That's good. No wonder it was getting so hot in here. All right. Oh my gosh, such an idiot. Such a moron. There we go. I had my curtains partially shut when I was gone on vacation in Arizona to stop the room from getting so hot. I had them turned the wrong way so the sun was pouring into the room last week. Oh, well, that's what happens. Anyway, see, this is better. I get too warm when the sun's pouring. It's nice having a sunny room, but like the sun pours in, I'm like, exactly. All right. What else we got here? Oh, God. This story just broke, by the way. Just broke a minute ago before I was starting the show. So the U.S. was going to name a new aircraft carrier after a famous black hero from World War II. It's a man. I always thought this was a woman. It's a man named Doris Miller. I saw this name before, kept thinking Doris Miller was a woman. Doris Miller is actually a man. Doris Miller was a famous enlisted sailor who helped defend U.S. forces from the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. Huge battle in terms of, devastating battle for the Americans, huge in American history, Pearl Harbor. So somebody who's a hero of Pearl Harbor is a big deal in American history. Well, they were going to name a new aircraft carrier after him, black. The Navy has now decided, maybe we're not going to name the aircraft carrier after a black guy. Guess who they're thinking of naming it instead? You know the answer to this one. You know the answer to this one. Donald Trump. They're literally considering not naming it after a black World War II hero and instead naming it after Donald Trump. Now, okay, I in the interest of fairness, they're considering naming another ship after him. I would guarantee you right now that other ship will not be an aircraft carrier. It's going to be something smaller. Because, this is the Trump people. This is Hegseth. Somebody looked at it and said, we're naming something as big and important as an aircraft carrier after a black man. That's what the Trump people, I guarantee you, said. There is no other reason why they would no longer name this after a black man. Because they've been doing their DEI thing, as they call it, and they're trying to basically stop everything that looks like it is honoring minorities. And the advancements as admirals and generals for minorities have crawled to almost zero under this. Women, others, right? That's what's been going on with these guys. Now, what is, again, really interesting. First of all, let's put this in context. What has Trump done to minorities with just the Pentagon alone, right? Just the Pentagon alone, right? Tuskegee Airmen. Trump and Hegseth banned the military schools from teaching about the Tuskegee Airmen. Only after it became a huge national story, did they finally relent. Who are the Tuskegee Airmen? Tuskegee Airmen were African-American pilots in World War II. African-American pilots in World War II. They were heroes. And Trump and Hegseth didn't want to teach about them. They thought there was a problem with our military learning about African-American heroes from World War II. Who else did Trump and Hegseth think it was a problem for people to learn about in the U.S. military? Indians. And I use the word Indian on purpose because the man in question uses the term meaning Native American, but his tribe uses the word Indian. I forget the guy's name. You guys will remember. One of you can bring up the name. I'm doing this off the cuff right now, so I can't remember his name. He's a famous Indian who was a Pima Indian. Thank you, Amanda. But I'm saying his name itself, if somebody wants to pull it up. Famous Pima, Ira Hayes. I think that is the name. Thank you, Rio. That sounds exactly right. Ira Hayes. So Ira Hayes. He's one of the men who lifted the flag at Iwo Jima. Again, it was staged. It doesn't matter. It's a really famous moment from World War II in the Pacific. And U.S. troops, U.S. Marines are lifting the American flag. And it's a beautiful monument in Northern Virginia. Absolutely gorgeous monument right in Northern Virginia of them lifting the flag. He was one of the flag lifters. He was Pima. He was Native American. The Pentagon had a web page explaining what was going on, like who this guy was. They took the page down because the page was about a Native American, an Indian. And that violates the new Trump rule that you're not allowed to honor someone who's a minority, right? We said the Tuskegee Airmen. How about the Arlington National Cemetery? Arlington National Cemetery is our, whatever. Arlington National Cemetery. Amanda, you're not keeping up with some of these people. Like, that guy was crazy. I mean, I didn't mean to criticize you, but that guy was freaking nuts who I just removed. Like, we've got like crazies on YouTube today. I'm not sure. Sorry, man. I know you're on like 4 different accounts. We've got like crazies on YouTube today. Not sure why. They're getting very upset when we dare criticize dear leader. What else did they do? Arlington National Cemetery. No, that's okay. Oh, that's why. I assumed as much because we had like a couple crazies, and I was going, "How did she miss that?" No, it's okay. Don't worry about it. You're allowed to step away. That's why I peruse it anyway for that reason. And it's super easy for me just to click, especially on YouTube. It's very easy. National Cemetery. Arlington National Cemetery is our famous, I think there's multiple cemeteries, but the main one is in Northern Virginia. And it is our national cemetery honoring our troops. Well, once upon a time, we used to, that's what I figured, like I said. Don't worry, I'm sorry. I mean, seriously, don't worry about it. You do more than enough here. The Arlington Cemetery used to be segregated. And in order to make up for that, right, because we basically hid the minorities at the back end of the cemetery, in order to make up for that, the Pentagon and the cemetery used to have like a map on the website that told you where you could find African Americans, where you could find, I'm sorry, we've got somebody on TikTok who is upset that we're defending minorities. Well, if it upsets you that we're talking about, for example, defending the rights of African Americans and women and Asian Americans and others, I think you need to find another live to follow. Because on this live, we respect Lance, we respect minorities, and we think it's actual news and we think it's important. If that's boring you, I'm sure, TikTok being what it is, you could easily find some other really scary account to follow. But on this one, if civil rights bothers you, you're in the wrong. Anyway, so they took off the website where you could find the African Americans and all the other minorities, where you could find their graves. Took it, gone. What was that? There were a couple more. Does anybody remember? What were the other ones that they did? There were a couple. Oh, the National Cryptological Museum. So there's a couple different spy museums. There's the one famous one that all the tourists go to. There's also a much less famous one that's really interesting in Maryland, and it's called the National Cryptological Museum. It is spy, but it's cryptology. It's National Security Agency. It's breaking codes and ciphers and that kind of stuff, right? It's a really cool museum. It's a very old museum because it's almost like 1950s technology and that kind of stuff, right? And the museum had a display up, and it was honoring like the history of famous cryptographers, famous people in American history who helped America during wars. And it was showing the diversity, and it was showing like white people, black people, women, Native Americans, right? Asian Americans, like everybody. And the Trump people, this was like the first week, I think, of his administration, and it blew up in their face, thank God. The Trump people made them put up a curtain hiding the display so you wouldn't see the faces of all of these diverse people who helped us in the various wars on cryptography, on code breaking. I mean, by the way, if we're going to talk about it, Alan Turing, Google who Alan Turing was, Turing, a gay man who, what was it? He broke the Enigma code, like the Nazi code in World War II. Hugely important what this guy did. Amazing what this guy did. And he's another one. I mean, so yeah, it's okay. That's right. There's a movie about it too. What was the? I don't remember what the movie. What was the movie? TOU. I don't think it's TOU. I think it's TUR, isn't it? I may be wrong, Nafladi. I'm not sure. Anyway, you get it. So now, after all of this, we find out today, Trump and Hegseth are considering no longer naming a U.S. aircraft carrier after an African-American hero of World War II, because they are considering naming it after Trump instead, which takes us to the much larger point here, which is this is what dictators do. This is what you do in countries that aren't democracies. right? You start, and this, by the way, our guest 2 weeks ago, we had Joshua Kolb, who came here, who was amazing. Joshua was a lawyer representing, among other people, David Hearn, who's the former Olympian that Trump falsely accused of ripping up the reflecting pool. Josh is one of his lawyers. Josh is working on a number of other cases, including the Kennedy Center case, a number of different cases. Lisa, what was it? Lisa, I'm going to say, it's not Kaplan. What's her name? Lisa, who's the Federal Reserve, one of the Federal Reserve people that Trump is going after. I'm totally forgetting her name. It's a short name. Lisa Cook. That's it. Lisa Cook. Anyway, Josh was an amazing interview. It's so much fun interviewing Josh. But Josh himself brought up the point and said, with the Kennedy Center thing, we were talking about, he said, I said, it's funny, but it's not. I said, it's funny and it's goofy and it's stupid, but it also really matters. And he said, yeah. And I'm paraphrasing, but he said, this is part of the authoritarian playbook. This is what they do in dictatorships. They start to name everything after themselves. They build up, and I'm paraphrasing here, but they build up this sort of, it's called a cult of personality. Thank you, JPT. It's called a cult of personality. And it's what you do in communist China. It's what you do in the Soviet Union. It's what you do in Putin's Russia. You put up big 60-foot posters of the president's face on the agencies downtown, which Donald Trump did, right? This is not the kind of crap you do in democracies. It's what you do in North Korea, exactly. It's what you do in dictatorships. No, this is sick stuff, what Trump is doing. It's dangerous stuff, what he's doing. So help me God, we need to make sure that the next time a normal president gets elected, every single thing this guy did gets erased. Every single thing gets erased. And again, Democrats in Congress are going to have to do what they can. Once the Republicans, that's interesting, Manda. I don't know. That's kind of scary. Oh, God. I don't know. Thank you, Shayna. Oh, that's hilarious. I don't think I've seen that one before. That was weird. Thank you, Rocky's Punch. Very scary stuff. Very scary stuff. All right, guys, let me pull up more news here. It's funny. I was afraid we didn't have enough news today, but we've had such horrifyingly scary stories that we have had enough to talk about, unfortunately. What else we got here? U.S. debt. The U.S. national debt, the money we owe, has now just topped, for the first time ever, $40 trillion. Woo, woo! Thank you, Donald Trump. Woo, woo, woo! Yes. Thanks to Donald Trump and the Republicans. By the way, every time Donald Trump and the Republicans have been in power, the national debt has surged. You will go check it out for yourselves. Since Ronald Reagan, every time Republicans have been in power, they have spent $40 trillion. I may have said billion. I may have made a mistake. $40 trillion with a T. Trillion. I believe, as I recall, the interest payment on the debt is approximately $1 trillion a year. Something like 15% of our budget, at least 15%, goes to pay just the interest on our debt. And it's like your credit card payment, right? Where you pay the interest, but it doesn't help you shut down the debt at all. It's crazy. This stuff, and it's always the Republicans. It has always been Republican president. And by the way, most of the time, Trump's differently. Trump just spends money on anything. Typically during Republican presidencies, what they try to do is they try to cut domestic programs, the programs that help people at home, and then they spend crazy monies on the military. They always spend more on the military, and then they massively cut taxes. And it's always the tax cuts that are the worst, because basically, and they will do this every tax cut. Republicans will always say, oh, the tax cut pays for itself because we cut taxes and people have more money and they spend the money on the economy and the economy grows. And then the amount of taxes we're already doing on a bigger economy brings in lots of money. They've been saying this for 50 years now. It hasn't worked in 50 years. They're lying. So Republican presidents cut taxes. The taxes, the debt always goes crazy, and the Democrats come in, and the Democrats basically have to try to get things under control. Bill Clinton was the most famous one. Bill Clinton comes in. He inherits a deficit. I'm forgetting how big the deficit was under Clinton, under Reagan. Clinton inherits a deficit under Reagan, deficit meaning the government each year is spending more money than it takes in. Clinton leaves, and we were making a surplus. I believe the government surplus was around 400. How much was it, guys? Was it 400 billion a year? I'm forgetting how much it was. I think it was 400 billion. But Clinton left us where the government was making money each year. We literally were taking in more money than we were spending thanks to Bill Clinton. And then George Bush came in and immediately came up with about a $2 trillion tax cut that broke the bank again. Well, Bush did the tax cut. Then what happened, like literally right after George Bush did his tax cut, we had 9/11. And 9/11, that was the end of that. The spending on war went through the roof. Thank you, Eslyn. And I will say, I will defend some of the spending on war because of 9/11, but that's why you don't spend like a drunken sailor on everything else, right? You don't waste our money in even, when Bush did the tax cut, he did it because Clinton saved the money. And Bush said, we got extra money. We can spend it now. Again, they call Democrats loose spenders, right? And I remember at the time saying, wouldn't it make more sense to save the money, for a rainy day? If something goes wrong, then we've got the money. Literally within a couple months, Al-Qaeda attacks us, September 11th happens, and we spend massive amounts of money on war. Right after Bush and the Republicans wasted our surplus that we had coming out of the Clinton administration. Right after Bush and the Republicans wasted our money, we then had to go to war. And it's every time. And what's his name? Trump has done it too. Tax cuts during his first term. I forget if he didn't. I don't think he did tax cuts. I think he did 2 sets of tax cuts. I don't think he did 2 sets of tax cuts this time around. It's just crazy. And inflation. Look what the Republicans are doing with the economy now. Inflation's gone up. Inflation's bad. Inflation's gone up since Biden. It was at 3% with Biden when Biden handed it over. Now it's at 3.54%. Again, gone up under Trump. We all know what's happened with gas prices. Gone up under Trump. Right. We all know, by the way, what happened with interest rates. Interest rates for mortgages and credit cards were coming down under Biden, and under Trump, they were supposed to come. They were. I know because we're selling a house. They were supposed to come down further, and Trump screwed everything up. Interest rates went up again. Interest rates went up because of Donald Trump. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. What do you do? All right. Other news here. North Korea. Oh, this is great too. So Trump this weekend, Trump being Trump, Trump this weekend decided to verbally attack South Korea. South Korea is one of our biggest allies. And Trump decided to talk about, why are we doing our, okay. You can have a little time out there. That was incredibly rude. South Korea, Trump went off on the South Korea thing about why are we having to give money to South Korea, defending them? There's the North. He kind of went off about how North Korea wasn't bad. He likes the North Koreans. The North Koreans like him. And it shouldn't be any problem, right? I mean, why would that be? Why would that be? Actually, Manda, it also claims I just banned somebody who I muted for a temporary mute. Do you want to check on that one too? He was being rude and he deserved a mute, but he didn't deserve a ban. But it's telling me that he got banned. If you check on that one too, please, on YouTube. So Trump went off about Kim Jong-un and now he's my best friend and there's nothing wrong. Oh, it says time to, okay, good. On my end, it says banned. He's my best friend and blah, blah, blah. So listen to this. The North Korea denied any direct communication between Kim Jong-un and President Trump and dismissed the U.S. decision to scale down joint military drills with South Korea. We have military drills with South Korea going on. Trump said, I don't know why we're having these drills. I guess they've gone so far that we don't have a choice, but I'm ordering them to be less. The drills we're about to have with North Korea, we need to have them smaller. So Hegseth at the Pentagon ordered the drills to be made smaller. And the North Koreans responded and said, we don't care. That's stupid. It doesn't make any difference. Trump decided to pander to another dictator. Trump decided to attack another ally. I mean, this is all this man does. Again, had a Democrat done this, if a Democrat sucked up to America's enemies like Donald Trump does to Russia, certainly to Russia, China as well, but certainly to Russia and North Korea, my God, right? What people would say, right? Paula, I don't know what that means. There shouldn't be two streams on YouTube. I have no idea what that means. Oh, you know what? You know what YouTube might be doing now? StreamYard might be publishing. You know what it is? StreamYard, I think. Okay, I know what's going on now. 1 second, TikTokers. So YouTube now, I think, allows you to publish like a vertical stream and a horizontal stream. And I think it publishes them simultaneously. So I don't know if you're able to, I wasn't even sure it was doing that. But if you're able to check that out, that might not be a bad thing. But I wasn't even aware that was a thing. Yeah, the other stream is portrait. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, the crazies must be going to the other stream. Oh, hang on a second. Oh, this is interesting. Interesting. Oh. I'm trying to see what no, that's not the right one. I'm trying to like see what this looks like. Oh, I see now. Yeah, it does. It does. Okay. Oh, that's why. Sorry, guys. Okay. You know what, Amanda, if you can check out, you're a moderator in the other one, aren't you? If you're a moderator in the other one, can you go crazy and I'll just keep an eye on this one because this one's easy. I know it's Tech Talk Day. Sorry, guys. We're dealing with a lot of troll. TikTok created or YouTube created a new stream, but it's got a lot of trolls. Yeah, if you can, I'm on the regular horizontal one. I can get people easily here. If you want to go check out the other one, that might not be a bad thing. If you're able to. Hopefully you're still a mod on the other one. I think you are, right? Hopefully. But like I said, this one's easy. We only get the occasional Looney Tunes here. It's easy. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was something. Yeah, but I didn't know what you were talking about, Paul, at the time. You said there's two. And I'm like, huh? Anyway. All right. Let's do a little more here. Kennedy Center update. So here's an update. This was from Norm Eisen. Norm Eisen is the boss, the lawyer boss of Joshua Kolb, who was the lawyer we had here, who was here the other day talking about the reflecting pool and all of that. Josh's boss is Norm over at the, what is it? I think it's the Center for Protecting Democracy, I think. In any case, he says that the government now says it may have damaged the Kennedy Center's historic marble, and still the board wants Trump's name back up in defiance of a federal court order. This is petty, performative, and obstruction. So they're claiming that they need to still put Trump's name back up, okay? They're claiming they need to put Trump's name back up, right? And but they're also claiming that they destroyed the marble the first time they put Trump's name up. That's why they got to leave the tarp up, because they literally destroyed the marble and they're not sure how to fix it. At the same time, but they also announced they're going to put Trump's name back up again. You heard about this? They're not going to say the Donald Trump and whatever thingy. They're going to say, oh, it was the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, renewed and remade by Donald Trump. It's like, and they announced this last week. Unbelievable. These people. What else we got? Bulwark, Sean Duffy. Sean Duffy's listen, Sean Duffy is Trump's transportation secretary. He's kind of a far-right Christian. He's married to that nasty Rachel, right? The kind of Looney Tunes. So Sean Duffy says his daughter wants to go to Harvard. Okay. I'm not repeating that. Thank you, Chazak. Not repeating it, though. Oh, that was actually Cleo as well. Thank you, Cleo. Hey, Marion, Bermuda. You didn't tell me. I go to Bermuda with you. I told you I need somebody to go travel with. So the Bulwark reports Sean Duffy he's worried because his daughter wants to go to Harvard. Listen to first of all, imagine if your daughter wants to go to Harvard. Okay, imagine if your daughter wants to go to Harvard, and imagine what you would say. about that, right? Right? His daughter wants to go to Harvard. Here's what Sean Duffy, Trump's transportation secretary, says. If I send you there, I think what happens is they have professionalized figuring out how they can take good young girls like you and I think corrupt their mind. They get perverted and contorted. Your daughter says she wants to go to Harvard. And your response isn't, wow, honey, I am so impressed with you that your sights are so high, that your goals are so big, and that you would want to go to such a great school, right? Right? He turns around and gives this kind of Looney Tunes comment to his daughter wanting to go to Harvard. I mean, think about that. You're so weirdly political. You're such a MAGA activist that you don't even want your children to get a great education. You're going to basically harm your Harvard. I'm sorry. You know what? I wish I went to Harvard. I mean, it doesn't get any better than Harvard. And also, you go to freaking Harvard and you've got like every door open for you just because you went to Harvard. I mean, if your kid wants to go to Harvard, obviously you should be concerned about money. That's a big deal. But your kid wants to go to Harvard, you say, and they're able to go to Harvard, you get on your knees and thank God that your kid's able to go to Harvard, because your kid has a very decent chance of having the rest of their life made for them if they go to Harvard. And these idiots talk about your mind will be perverted and contorted if you go to Harvard. Yeah. Or you might just learn something. And that's the most terrifying aspect for these people. So another really fascinating, the trolls are going to love this one. Now we're going to talk about Natalie Harp trolls. Get ready, Amanda, get ready. So Jon Ossoff is this awesome Democratic senator from Georgia. And Ossoff gets down and does this talk. And I think he gave a speech or something. Was he on TV or he gave a speech? I'm not sure which. And Ossoff says about Donald Trump and says, Trump is, he's too busy. Like basically the Trump, I got to pull up, actually, hold on a second. I'm going to try to pull up the actual quote. Let me pull this up. This is a good one. I want the actual, hold on. Ossoff quote. You need to hear the quote. All right. Here we go. He's talking about how Trump doesn't do anything. Okay. How Trump doesn't do anything. Hang on. He says about Trump, he golfs and trades stocks. See, he doesn't want to do the job. He wants to build his ballroom and travel with Natalie to their apparently defenseless flying palace gifted by the Emir of Kuwait. That's what he said. This is a Democratic Senator, Jon Ossoff, talking about how Donald Trump doesn't want to work. He only wants the nice stuff. I'm going to read this again because it's become a huge scandal and it's pretty funny. Okay? Talking about Trump, the Democratic Senator says, he golfs and trades stocks. See, he doesn't want to do the job. He wants to build his ballroom and travel with Natalie to their apparently defenseless flying palace gifted by the Emir of Qatar, right? The airplane that isn't safe. Well, Republicans are freaking out because Jon Ossoff mentioned Natalie. This was actually really brilliant what he did, and the Republicans fell for it. The Republicans exactly. Someone protested too much. The Republicans fell for it. Notice Ossoff didn't give Natalie's last name. Ossoff didn't mention why he was even mentioning Natalie. He simply said Trump would rather spend time with Natalie on his little plane. There is a rumor. A rumor wouldn't be quite right. People have noticed in the last couple months that we now have an anti-Trump troll. That's a first, by the way. I've never had to ban somebody before who was anti-Trump, but somebody was anti-Trump and going crazy, and I got rid of him. See, we try to be fair here about the crazies that we don't allow. We try to keep things civil here. So Trump has been seen a lot lately with a longtime aide named Natalie Harp. She's 35. She's very petite. She's very blonde. And she's always very close to Donald Trump. Laughs and smiles a lot. People have found it very suspicious. Trump has a history of extramarital affairs. During his first, I was going to say pregnancy, during his first marriage, he cheated on his wife from his first marriage, and that woman became his second marriage. He then cheated on his second marriage. There's a rumor, but it's not quite proven that he cheated. Third marriage, we know he cheated at least once with Stormy Daniels, who's the woman he paid $130,000 to. He slept with her when Melania had just given birth to Barry. I mean, really bad stories. And then we all know about Trump's history of several dozen accusations of sexual harassment, sexual assault. Women have sued him. Women have won lawsuits against him, right? So you got that. People found it weird that this blonde woman was always by Trump's side. That's why Jon Ossoff mentioned it. But Jon Ossoff didn't accuse Trump of infidelity. Jon Ossoff simply said, you know, he'd rather be with Natalie on that expensive plane that doesn't have enough security than do his actual job. That's all he said. The Republicans went nuts. The thing is, they went nuts in a way that wasn't very helpful to Donald Trump. They basically went and screamed. They went and screamed about Donald Trump and Natalie. They called her Natalie Harp. They literally said, how dare you accuse Natalie Harp of having an affair with Donald Trump? And they literally said it. And Democrats were like, nobody accused Natalie Harp of having an affair with Donald Trump. Nobody did. You did right now. But Jon Ossoff simply said Donald Trump would rather spend time on his rich, expensive plane with Natalie and his ballrooms and his golf courses and things like that, right? The Republicans gave her full name. The Republicans kept not even repeating, because Ossoff never said it. The Republicans kept saying, no, she's not having an affair with Trump. Well, here's the thing, and I've said this before. One of the big rules we do in public affairs, right, is one of the big rules in public affairs, in marketing. If somebody attacks you and accuses you of something, you don't repeat the accusation. If somebody says, you stole, I think you, congressman or whatever, stole $1 million. Thank you. You don't say, I didn't steal $1 million, because I'm still reminding people of what the accusation was, right? You would say, the accusations against me are false, they're libelous, and I'm going to sue anybody who said it because I've been right. I'm a good, upstanding citizen, blah, 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 blah. Thank you, OC. But you deny it, right? Or you make the allegations about Natalie Harp, right? And you say these are scurrilous allegations by people who are upset because Donald Trump is the best president we've ever had, right? You turn it around. Thank you, Cricket. You get a goat for that one. I got to find the goats. The goats are buried on the other side of my table, but I will find one if you ask for one. But that's what you do. You don't give people her full name, which the Democratic senator didn't mention. You don't give the full name and then literally mention the accusation, which is of an extramarital affair, which the Democratic senator didn't mention. Halloween, let me see here. That's Christmas. Regular, I think I got Halloween. There we go. I had put everything on the corner of my table because I was gone and Damien was house sitting, and I didn't want to have it be, I didn't want to have stuff get lost. All right, Halloween goat. One more time. There you go. So yes, so this was actually kind of fascinating. Now, the other thing that's funny, it's very funny to see Republican defenders of Donald Trump sit there and say, oh, how dare you launch personal attacks against innocent Donald Trump, right? Because, Donald Trump never launches personal attacks against anybody except literally everybody. I mean, the man is a walking, breathing, 300-pound personal attack. That's all he does. But they're good at what they do. They're good at messaging. Right, I am not a crook. That's what Val just mentioned, the perfect example. Right, that's such a, from Richard Nixon, that quote has lasted 50 years. I am not 55 years maybe now, or 50, maybe fewer, 53 years, right? I am not a crook. And everybody now knows, oh my God, it was Nixon, right? Anyway, very crazy stuff. Very crazy stuff. Oops, I'm proving that I am a human. There we go. Prove that I'm a human to TikTok. Anyway, oh my God. I mean, the craziness of this stuff, the absolute craziness of this. Keep the gifts coming, guys. Keep clicking the likes or the hearts or the screen or whatever it is on TikTok, if you would. Get those numbers up for us today. And keep the gifts coming too. Brian Stelter. This was actually interesting. Brian Stelter mentioned, which I thought was funny. Brian Stelter, who's a news analyst of the media analyst, I should say, reports that Google searches for Trump's executive assistant, Natalie Harp, spiked by 5,000%. Oh, I didn't mention, there were also now stories coming out about her and just how beholden she is to Donald Trump. A letter she wrote to Trump was unearthed. It said, among other things, I want things to always be right between us. I also know I've been distracted all week, forgetting to eat throughout the days and even forgetting to sleep and only catching a couple hours at a time. CNN reports that she once jumped into the trunk of a vehicle in Trump's motorcade when they told her there was no room for her when they were going to a hearing at a New York courthouse. Remember, they were going to the New York courthouse with one of the Trump's cases, and they told her there's no room. She had to be with Donald Trump, so she jumped into the trunk. She jumped into the trunk. Yeah. I mean, that's normal behavior. Totally normal behavior. Yeah. Oh, the last story. This was sort of interesting too. So you know how Trump had sued a bunch of the universities? And Trump had sued a bunch of universities. I'm gonna sneeze here. I hate that when you get like a sneeze going and then you're like, nonstop sneezes. Alexa, lower the temperature 1 degree. Thank you, guys. So Trump goes after a bunch of the universities. Now, I will say this. Trump, as always, went after them for the wrong reason. Okay? Trump went after the universities and said, you broke the law by discriminating against Jewish students, and we need to punish you, and you need to settle with us and give us millions of dollars and all this kind of crap, right? And a couple of the universities caved. One of them did not, but several of them did. And we don't even need to get into it. The important story with that today is, this was from the news today. Trump officials ignored their own university investigators, lawyer says. A former Justice Department lawyer says Trump administration leaders ignored findings that elite schools, including Brown and Columbia, hadn't broken the law as they pressed them into deals. Trump's administration found that these elite schools that they were threatening to sue or had sued didn't break the law. They had already concluded the schools were innocent. But Trump thought the schools were liberal, and he didn't want them to have like civil rights policies and things like that. So or affirmative action or anything else. So he forced the universities into reaching like these horrible agreements with him. It was all a bluff because he claimed they had broken the law, and they hadn't broken the law at all. Anyway, you know how I feel about these people. Anyway, are you having fun over there, Amanda? I don't know why the other stream is getting such crazy. What I had read, by the way, what poor Amanda's been having to do, what Madonna's been having to deal with is the TikTok. YouTube now lets us stream horizontal and vertical, but it does it as two different streams. And I had read, or somebody had mentioned last week, and they said the vertical stream actually YouTube is promoting them, and they'll get more traffic and everything else. So I was like, sure, let's do it. But I think that's why they're promoting it more. So you're getting kind of more crazies from all over the place coming. That's funny. Wow. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, no, I was anyway, now I get it. I was wondering, well, like I said, at the very beginning, I was like, we've had 3 crazy people. How did Amanda get those? But because you've had 1,000 crazy people, and well, they keep coming here too, which is kind of fun. I kind of enjoy, when it's not out of control, I enjoy taking out the trolls. I think it's fun. There's just something very, oh boy, there's something very cathartic about like clicking, bang, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so much fun. I just got another free song. I use that term because the trolls won't know what it means. Yeah, no, I know. Don't worry about it. It's okay. Anyway, oh my God, it's crazy. Anyway, so welcome back, guys. I'm back. I was in Arizona. Now we can hang out and talk. Oh, it's 7:08 already. My God, can't believe the time already flew. So I was in Arizona for a week. Very fun. We had a lot of fun. Saw my nephews, saw their kids. Got to do a little bit of tourism. We went fossil picking. That was kind of fun. There's some places you can go to pick marine fossils, and they're invertebrates, meaning they don't have backbones, which kind of sucks. But just because some of the bigger fossils have backbones, but it's free. You just go. It's very hot. It was horrible hot. It was like 110 degrees, literally. But you go and you can pick up fossils. Now, it was hard to find the location. Even once you get there, it's hard to find the actual spot that has the fossils. Very difficult. We finally found it, and it was very difficult. Thank you, Nathan, for the gift on TikTok. But we found them, and it was very cool. And the thing is, I can even show you guys. The problem is thank you, Patty. You get to pick which kind of goat you want. I'm going to see if I can even find this. I don't know if I can find the thing I'm looking to show you. I think I can find. There's a couple of really good ones. First of all, we were looking where we went was warmer. It was only like 95 degrees where we went. It was at this point it was 110 in Phoenix, and it was 95 by us. Crazy stuff, right? Oh, are these the good? I think these are the good ones. Hang on. These are very difficult. No, it's not. Hold on. I'm going to open up so many of these because I want to find you the right one. La, la, la. Come on. It's not that one. This is funny. I'm literally going to open up every package of rocks so I can show you. But what's really hard with the fossils is it's hard to identify them on the ground. So you're kind of picking stuff up. Here's the good one. You're picking stuff up that you think looks good, but you're not sure. Okay, this is an example of one. You can see how big it is. I saw it on the ground, and I saw that it had some lines on it, and I thought they were interesting. You guys can see. You see, it's got lines on it, and I thought those lines are interesting, right? Oh, it won't. I don't know for you if it'll stay. Okay, so you can see there's lines on it, and I thought those lines look interesting. Let me show you what those lines are. I think even with my iPad, I could probably get a decent photo. Let me see. Because once we got home and we used our phones, we were like, holy crap. Let's see. Oh, I don't think this has. Oh, it does actually. You know what? I'm going to show you one of the phones saved on my computer that I took this weekend. And this. Oh, hello. It didn't synchronize yet. Are you kidding me? Oh my God, it didn't synchronize. They're on my phone. Can I just say I hate when my phone does this? It doesn't synchronize. Yeah, now it's synchronizing. Oh, it's probably not going to synchronize. I don't think I can get a good enough photo. It is the most complicated. Hold on a second. I want to see if I don't think I texted this to anybody. Shoot. I was going to see if I texted it to my nephew or somebody. I don't think I did. Oh, wait. Maybe I did. I think I did. Ooh, I think I did. Let me see here. I may be able to pull this up for you. Like I said, what's really cool about it is you don't realize. Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is one of those stones that I just showed you, right? So this could even be this stone. This is what the stone looks like when you pick it up. And you go, oh, there's a lot of lines on it. That stone could have something, right? Let me shut this. When you zoom in, this is what the stone has when you zoom in. I want to show you, and then I'm going to even zoom more. Every single line is an animal. Actually, it's a colony of animals. I mean, look at this stuff. Every single squiggle that has holes in it, each of those holes in the squiggle had an, these are 300 million years old. Each of the holes in the squiggle had an animal. The squiggles were a colony of animals, almost like algae. Not algae, almost like, what do you call it? You know, coral, but not coral. And they were lived in a colony together, not coral. I'm forgetting the names. And each of those squiggles was a colony. The entire rock had between 5,000 and 10,000 animals, fossils are in this rock. But you've got to, like I said, go really close in order to see the stuff that's there. Here's another one that's really cool. And again, when you get close, all of a sudden you can see all of the details. Pretty much everything in that picture. At the bottom, you've got not a seashell, but it's kind of like the covering of a seashell, this area here. All the squiggles, like I said, are more of those other sort of animals. I mean, I think it's this stuff to me is just the coolest stuff. That little rock under magnification looks like this, and all of these are fossils from 300 million years ago. It was the coolest thing. I don't know what you've got. I mean, I can ask my ChatGPT if it remembers. Let me pull it up. Actually, hold on. ChatGPT, where are you? Hold on. Let me ask it real quick. It seems to be keeping a memory lately. I don't know if it is right now. Hey, I don't know if you remember, I've been asking you to identify the different fossils on the rocks that I picked up in Arizona. I'm talking to some people right now and trying to tell them the kind of things we found on those fossils. Can you do a quick summary?
Of course I remember. The rocks you found in Arizona had a cool assortment of fossils. We identified branching bryozoans. Those are colonial animals with tiny individual zooids and little tubes. We also
you know what? Let me stop you a second. Talk to people who aren't scientists. Make this a little dumber.
Got it. In plain terms, we found a bunch of tiny ancient sea creatures. Those little tubes, they were home to miniature animals living together in colonies. And the smoother tube-like shapes were likely from ancient sea sponges, basically underwater critters that anchor themselves in the seafloor. So you've got fossilized traces of ancient ocean life.
And they dated back to around 300 million or 310 million years ago, correct?
Yes, exactly. Those fossils are from the late Paleozoic era, about 300 to 310 million years old. Basically, you're holding remnants from when Arizona was under a shallow sea.
And just real quick, the tubes that had all the holes in it, tell us more about that.
Those were from bryozoans, tiny animals that lived in colonies. Each little hole was home to one tiny creature, almost like a microscopic apartment complex. Together, these colonies would grow in branching patterns on the sea.
And the shell with the holes in it, was it like coral or what was that?
That was also a bryozoan colony. While it might look a bit like coral, bryozoans are their own kind of tiny filter-feeding animals.
No, that's not my question. My question is, what was the actual outer shell that had the holes in it? What was that? You there?
I see what you mean. The shell itself was the skeletal structure of the bryozoan colony. It's not a shell from another creature. The bryozoans built that outer hole-filled structure as their home. So it's their own.
Is it made of like coral or whatever? What's it made of?
It's made of calcium carbonate, just like coral. But bryozoans and corals are different creatures. Bryozoans form their own little skeletons. So what you found is essentially their self-made stony framework.
Okay. And what do they eat, by the way, the bryozoans? You said they're really small.
They're tiny filter feeders. Each little bryozoan animal uses tiny tentacles to catch microscopic bits of food floating in the water. Things like plankton and little organic particles. They're tiny but efficient.
Like whales, interestingly enough.
Exactly. Just on a much, much smaller scale. Bryozoans and whales both rely on filtering tiny morsels out of the water. One's just microscopic.
Okay, there you go. But that was the long tubes with the holes in it. It was, like I said, we had so much fun. It was so cool. It was just so freaking cool. Anyway, oh, hey, Reiko. I'm assuming that's my Reiko. It was really fun. It was very, very, very. Oh, we had a goat. What did we have a goat? Which goat? Halloween goat? All right, another Halloween goat. Sorry about that. Thank you, Patty. We were in the middle of, I was forgetting because we were in the middle of talking about the fossils. One more time. There we go. Thank you, Patty. But yeah, but it was hotter than hell, though. I mean, like, it was 95 degrees. It was hot. It was humid, and we were looking for these things, and we finally found them, thank God. But it was not easy. But it's neat. Arizona. I like Arizona. I mean, it's a little boring, but seeing families. It's very pretty though. Like, I like the nature. It is hot, although the dry heat to me does matter. Like, it was when it got more humid that got uncomfortable. Like, yesterday was humid. Yesterday was like maybe 98 or something, but it was humid, so it was disgusting. The day before was 110, and we walked the dog. It was dry, and it literally felt like a dry sauna. If you've ever been to a dry sauna, it was a dry sauna that was uncomfortable, but you also weren't sweating. And when you finished, you were like, okay, I'm a 15-minute walk. I've probably had enough, but it wasn't the end of the world. 98 degrees and humid, I got like 10 feet, and I was like, oh my God, this is disgusting. The humidity makes all the difference. How far did we walk? It's hard to explain. You go to the site. There's a special site near Payson. It's well known, near Payson, Arizona. And you go to the site, and again, there's descriptions, but they suck. You basically have to climb over the site to find a path, and then down the path on the right, you'll find tons of fossils. But it's described horribly that we finally had to use ChatGPT to try to figure out where this was, because I was explaining, I'm like, I followed the directions, we're not following it. And I said, and my nephew's got a feeling that we actually are supposed to cross over the hill, not go beyond the hill. And ChatGPT said, I think you're right. It was funny. I think it was great. He goes, I think you might be right. And it actually helped us find the spot. It was crazy. Not easy at all. Not easy at all. But fun. But like I said, little kids, again, maybe in December when it's not as, but yeah, dry heat. I mean, dry heat is a real thing. It is. Yesterday morning I was going to the airport, and we decided to walk the dog, and I had a t-shirt on, and we went around the block, and I came back and it was sopping wet, and I was like, oh, you've got to be kidding. So I was going to wear it to the airport. I didn't. Because the day before I was wearing like a regular shirt, and we walked all the way around the block, but because it was dry, you sweat and it evaporates, whatever it is, you don't get wet, so your clothes don't get gross, block of sea shelf, that's cool. Anyway, but it was fun. It was very interesting. Yeah, like I said. But we traveled around a bit. It's interesting. The state is very, very dry-aged meat. You're funny. My nephew was talking about dry-aged meat, and I've never had it before. He mentioned it as well, JTA. That's very funny that you brought that up because we were talking about it. Yeah, very interesting. I think the problem I think with the dry heat, my suspicion, actually, I think I've read about this, is you don't realize how hot it is. That's the problem. That you don't realize how hot it is, and you can die because you're not sweating. So you think this isn't that bad, right? You think it's worse when it's uncomfortable, and it could actually be just as or worse when it is comfortable. So very, like I said, 110 felt better than 98 because 98 was humid. But yeah, I mean, our DC, it's crazy. I was looking today. Today was good temperature. Today was maybe 85, but the heat index was 73, which is disgusting. Even though it's 85, it was just disgusting out. So we didn't go for a walk. I would have rather walked in 100-degree heat in Arizona with it being dry. It's weird the difference the humidity makes. Very, very crazy. Anyway, JTA, it was where it was, the fossils. They're right off of the roadway. There's some hills, and the hills are made of limestone, and the limestone has a million fossils in it. And you just walk, you park your car, and you walk a couple feet, and You got to know where to look, though, was the problem. We were looking for 45 minutes and found nothing, but it's right there. There are a couple hills right off of, like, very low hills that are clearly, falling apart. You can see little stones falling, but it's hard to find the exact area. Once we found the exact area, they weren't kidding when they said, you're sitting in a pile of fossils, every rock you're picking up. It was ridiculous. Every rock I picked up practically. The problem is they're so small that you kind of have to have a good eye to say, this looks unnatural. This looks like writing or something, right? That's how those things came about. I picked up a bunch of rocks that looked that had odd writing on them, I would almost say. And that's because they were the long, skinny, these not protozoa, whatever you call them. Yeah, no dinosaurs. It's not legal. Well, I think it might be legal if it's someone's private property and you get permission, I think. But it's generally not legal to pick up anything that's got a vertebrae. Anything with a backbone is questionable, apparently. Or maybe not anything, but lots of things with dinosaurs, not helpful. I know we did actually have a magnifier. He had a magnifier. He didn't give it to me. My nephew had a magnifier. The other thing was I didn't know the fossils were going to be so small. Otherwise, I would have brought a magnifier. You're right. The site is called Paleosite. If you're near Payson, Arizona, just Google Paleosite, P-A-L-E-O, site Arizona. It's all online. Getting to it's very easy. It's just hard finding the actual location itself is hard. Not the location. It's hard to find the spot where you really can get the where you actually can get the fossils themselves. That's what's so hard, It's just, anyway. It worked out in the end, but it wasn't easy. Yeah, like I said, So anyway, it was very cool though. Wow, I'm impressed, Amanda. Everything's clean over there now. I've just decided to look over just for fun. Wow. That's wild though that it's a different page. Very interesting. Very interesting. Wow. Anyway, guys, so that's that. I don't think I'm going to go too much longer here because we're already at 7:25. But anyway, so yes, it was fun. It was fun. Oh, did you say the fossils were small? I didn't remember that. I mean, I would have. We got a small magnifier with this little kit we bought, but I probably would have bought another magnifier. I would say absolutely bring a nice magnifying glass. Once you get home, your phone camera is great for pulling up the fossils, but until when you're actually looking for them, you need a magnifying glass because you need to pick up the rock and go, oh, that's interesting. It's not easy. But it was cool. Like I said, I'm going to add them to my collection. I'm considering actually maybe doing a photo or two because my big fear is that someday I die and people inherit my collection and they don't know what the hell anything is. So I've been trying to keep tabs of what things are, but I'm thinking of maybe doing a photo too, just so that when you look at it, you go, oh, okay, these rocks must have a lot of cool, the photo is really cool. The rocks must have cool stuff on them. Otherwise, I'm afraid of somebody going, oh, just a rock, and it's like, oh, well, what do you do? Anyway. All right, guys. Well, okay. You know what? Let's have a last minute chat about the Odyssey. All right. No spoilers. Don't worry. We went to see the Odyssey. Very interesting. So, I don't know. Yeah, Gunther goes to my nephew. Sorry. All right. We were disappointed in the Odyssey. Now, I'm happy to tell you why, because all that could happen is you go to see it and you love it, right? There's no downside in me telling you we didn't like it. Here's what we didn't like about it. And again, I'm not going to ruin it for you and spoil it or anything, right? But the Odyssey, a couple different things. For me, first of all, we saw it in IMAX. IMAX sucked. It was like biggest IMAX theater in the country in Arizona. It sucked. The quality looked like it looked like you're projecting your Great Falls is very nice, Mr. Andrews. it looked like they were projecting a movie onto a wall of a garage. Because you know how when you project a movie onto your wall, not a movie screen, but the actual wall, it kind of makes it grayer and kind of stuff like that, right? Well, the quality, for whatever reason, the IMAX just didn't look good. And I don't know why. I mean, I don't know what it was that made the quality be so shitty, frankly. Second thing, the movie is clearly broken up into like chapters. And you're like, oh, this scene is this chapter. Next scene is this chapter. And you feel like somebody has taken a book and this happened with some movie I saw in the last couple of years, I remember. And I didn't like it for that reason because it didn't feel like it flowed. It felt like, this chapter. And now chapter 3. And now chapter 7. It didn't flow. My biggest problem, and we had an even bigger problem when we left the movie, I'm not going to ruin it for you. I don't want to ruin anything for you. But the main story in the Odyssey, and this is not ruining it, this is the main premise of the story. Trojan War. The Greeks go to fight the Trojan War, although they're kind of fighting other Greeks, really. But they go to fight in the Trojan War. It takes them 10 years. They win, and they go home. Well, Odysseus was one of the Greeks, and Odysseus ended up going on an Odyssey, thus where the word Odyssey comes from, Odysseus. It takes him like another 10 years to get home. And Alexa raised the temperature 1 degree. And things happen to him like he and his men run into the Cyclops. The story of the Cyclops, guy with one eye, comes from the Odyssey, Homer's Odyssey. Who knew, right? Well, so there's a lot of stories like that, a lot of mythological stories of all the horrible experiences they had trying to get home. Christopher Nolan, the director, whatever the hell it is of the movie, didn't like the way Homer wrote the book, so he changed it. And he did things like Odysseus and his men. And again, I'm not going to give you a spoiler, don't worry. Odysseus and his men are captured by the Cyclops. They have to escape. In the original Homer, written 3,000 years ago, there's a specific way they escaped. Christopher Nolan didn't like the way Homer had them escape, so he created a new way for them to escape. It wasn't the way they escaped. There's a part of the book where a really evil woman captures them all. He changed it. He changed all of it because Christopher Nolan didn't like the way Homer wrote it. There's another part of the book where Odysseus gets some advice on how to avoid some of the monsters. Christopher Nolan didn't like the fact that one character was going to give Odysseus the advice, so he had it be an entirely different character and in a different part of the movie. And you're going, you couldn't even a woman we see now versus a woman we see later. You couldn't just have the woman we see now be the one who gives the advice when she is the one in Homer who gave the advice. Now, there's a lot of this in the movie. The worst part, 2 parts. One, he comes home and sees his dog. This one, I don't know if it's a spoiler or not. Somebody who's seen the movie tell me, if I talk about the dog, am I spoiling it or not? Somebody tell me honestly, and I won't tell the story, although I don't think it's an important part of the story, but it's not necessarily like a spoiler. I'm waiting a second for people to tell me. All of this is in the book. But I'm not sure whether I should talk about the dog part. I'm waiting for a quick second for people to weigh in here. Well, if you haven't read the book, then you don't know. My point is, the part about the dog, well, that's true. I love that. Because it is 3,000 years old. I won't tell you about the dog. She goes, it is a 3,000-year-old story. There shouldn't be too many spoilers. I'm not going to tell you about the dog. I am going to tell you he fucked up that scene too. And in history, that's one of the most important scenes. It is just one of the most important scenes. And I will just say this. Don't anybody explain what the scene is or we'll block you forever. But I thought the scene was underplayed. I didn't know what was going on in the scene other than I'd read the book. And I went, that's all he did? there's a very important scene with the dog, and he underplayed it to the point where you're looking going, did I just see what I thought I was supposed to see? Because it felt like nothing happened. I'll leave it at that. Then you get to the end of the movie. The end of the movie, I'm not even going to ruin it for you because maybe he dies, maybe he lives, right? I'm not going to tell you since some of you don't know the story, but he's trying to come home to his thing. They changed the end of the movie. The way the movie ends. This guy is trying to get home to his wife and his son. And they changed the way the movie ends with Homer. The way Homer wrote it, because Christopher Nolan wanted a different ending. Guys, I mean, we finished we didn't even know I forgot how the Odyssey ended, so I didn't even know he changed the ending. It just ended, and I thought, we did think, did that happen? We got into the car and we Googled it. It was like, no, that's not how Homer ended the book. He changed so many things in the movie. I just find that the movie was, is it worth seeing? Sure. The movie's worth seeing. But it is inaccurate throughout the entire movie. It's inaccurate. It's not Homer. It's taking Homer and changing every single scene. Thank you, Mustafa. They changed every scene. And I just and significantly, that kind of stuff pisses me off unless you've told people this is a reinterpretation of Homer, right? It reminds me of some of the British shows. I forget if it was The Crown. It might have been The Crown. No. I don't know if The Crown did this, but the movie that did this was the Henry VIII series that I loved. What was it called? The one with Jonathan Rhys, what's his face? It's very good. But it's wonderfully done. They took liberties with it. It's not actually the Henry VIII story. There's just a lot of stuff that's wrong. Now, The Tudors. It's a wonderful series. I think it's one. If you like the British period stuff, I think it's fabulous. I've watched it several times. But I read a review of it that was talking about how the Brits were pissed because it was wrong. And what pisses me off is you don't tell us about the story of Henry VIII and his wives, the 6 wives or 7 wives, whatever the fuck it was, right? And tell us about the wives and get the story wrong. Granted, they don't know the exact conversations, but the actual facts of the story, they changed. And the Brits were like, I remember there was one kid where there was something with one character where there were 2 Marys. Is it help me out, I'm American. It was like Mary Queen of Scots and Mary, I'm guessing, was Mary Queen of Scots different than Mary Elizabeth's sister, maybe? I'm forgetting here who's who. But there were 2 Marys, and they thought for an American audience it would be confusing. So they conflated the Marys and had them be the same person. And I read that once. It would be confusing for Americans if 2 characters were named Mary, so they made 2 people Mary. The Passion of Christ, I think we all knew I didn't see it, but we all knew going into that it wasn't 100% based on, right? What bothers me with this is nobody tells you that the Odyssey is somewhat loosely based on the Odyssey. They tell you it's the Odyssey, right? You think you're going to see a movie about the Odyssey. They don't tell you you're seeing a movie that is loosely based on the Odyssey. So that a lot of it is the Odyssey and a lot of it is not the Odyssey. That pisses me off, right? I mean, that just pisses me off. I don't know. Anyway, no, but I mean, really, I don't think he should have. Also, the stuff he changed was stupid. I mean, he changed the way they escaped from the Cyclones. I'm not going to tell you how, but Homer didn't do a good enough job explaining how they escaped from the Cyclops. There were 3 Cyclopses. Christopher Nolan only wanted 1. I mean, when they escape, actually, this is not ruining anything either. When they escape the Cyclops, here's what was supposed to happen. I can tell you this, because it's not going to ruin anything. At one point, they get to the boats, and Odysseus yells something like, yes, we defeated you, and my name is Odysseus. He basically brags, right? And tells the Cyclops his name. And again, remember, in the old world, knowing someone's name is very powerful, all this. Well, the Cyclops, who's a child of Poseidon, goes and tells Poseidon, aha, this is the jerk who did this to me, who was mean to me. Go get him. Go give him bad seas. That happened in the Odyssey. Didn't happen in this play, in this movie. Why would it be so hard to have Matt Damon yell his name, bragging to the Cyclops? Like, why would that be so hard? Why would that be bad? It as I said, it pisses me off because they changed, but especially literally the ending of the play, they changed it. That's not how Homer ends. It's not how the Odyssey ends. It pissed me off. It's okay to watch. I didn't love it. Did anybody love it? We'll ask you guys really quick. We saw it at IMAX. Are you kidding? I want to ask you guys really quick, and then we're going to go because we've been going late tonight. John L. loved it. Okay. I liked it, but I wasn't wowed, and then I got pissed when I read all the stuff they changed. Like I said, just curious what other people are saying here about what their impression was. I know, spoilers after 3,000 years, very true. But still, it kind of is, though, if people aren't familiar. I wasn't familiar with. I've read it in high school. I don't remember all the stories from the Odyssey. Just curious. Yeah, Tina said I thought it was good. Italian TV series made in the 70s. That's funny. As I said, even before I realized he changed so much, it was okay, but it felt like a series of chapters on screen, But some of it was cool. There's a scene in Hades that's really cool. There's a scene with a witch that's kind of cool, even though he changed it entirely. Oh, God. Okay. Gothic Elves just mentioned something. This will be the last thing I mention. There's a ton of Greek mythology thrown in. The gods play all sorts of roles. I saw an interview where Christopher Nolan said, the director, that he didn't include all the stuff about the gods, which is huge in Homer. He didn't include all the stuff about the gods because, people today don't believe in all the Greek gods, and it would be weird. They wouldn't believe it. It's like they wouldn't believe it, but they believe that a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, there was a galactic empire. And a Wookiee overthrew it. Oh, that they're willing to believe, right? But to literally take out the gods out of the Odyssey because multiple Greek gods don't exist today, and people would just get confused and they wouldn't believe it. Oh, okay, Mr. Nolan. Right, then why make the movie? Exactly. Why make the movie if, that's fiction? People wouldn't understand fiction. Oh, okay. Yeah. But a one-eyed Cyclops, that they'll believe. Right? Oh, the Cyclops giant, he was believable. No problem. Anyway. Oh my God. Yeah, no, again, as I said, once I read about the details, it pissed me off. Anyway. All right, guys, I'm going to go. We've gone long on purpose since I've been gone for a while. I'm back. So tomorrow's Friday already. Saturday, we've got our coffee talk. Remember, for the paid monthly subscribers, that would be the super fans on TikTok. Everybody else over here as well. So join us. Otherwise, where is this? All right, there we go. Anyway, sorry, I had to get rid of a crazy person. Be gone, crazy person. Be gone. Be gone, I tell you. Be gone. Bye-bye. All right. I will see you guys. Have a good night. I will see you all tomorrow, 6 o'clock Eastern Time, U.S. Be there, be square. Thank you, mods. I know that was fun tonight. Well, let me know. Well, although, like I said, I was told allegedly, we'll have to check later. I can check later and see how many views there were. But supposedly, TikTok promotes this horizontal thing more than the vertical, but our TikTok, YouTube does. I don't know if it's true though. So I'll look at the data later if I'm even able to see. That was crazy. Sorry. Let me see how the data looks. I mean, or maybe we don't care. I did not get an. I'm not getting another dog for a while. No, no, no. I want to be able to travel. I can't travel with a dog, you know, because I don't live near family or anything. So no, no, no. I'm going to go until I can't travel. If for some reason, you know, my body starts falling apart and I can't travel, then I'm getting mini dogs. You know, but until, like, I just went to Arizona. I went out to Virginia for the weekend. I want to plan some trips to Europe, maybe Asia. I'm like, I want to start. I've got to go to Montreal and Quebec. We've talked about this. I want to finally do it. So I've got many trips, and I'm trying to actually figure out now where to go, because I'm like, I don't want to like not plan trips and then not do them. You know what I mean? So I've got to start planning them soon. So we shall see. Anyway, all right, guys. Have a good night. I will see you all mañana. All right. All right. Just what is this? Discord. Have a good night, Discord. All right. Substack, Instagram, YouTube, etc. I'll say goodbye to you guys if I can find my screen. Where's the crazy screen? Hold on, I'm trying to find my StreamYard. Here's my StreamYard. All right, see you, StreamYard.